I'm from the Netherlands, right? So
Yeah,
that's
ex-
quite a whiles away. So yes,
exactly. Okay,
yeah.
so let me get ourselves started. We're going to talk about this movie. Hold on.
All right. Where are you, John? What country are you in? You're in the States, right?
I'm in the States. I'm in Dallas, Texas.
All right. Okay.
Okay, and Justina, you are recording. All right, so we're going to start this. Here we go. Here we are on filmsgonewild.com. My name is John Wildman, and we are going to talk about the film There Is a Place on Earth. We've got Ellen Vander Honert here to talk about the film, which is screening at the EARTHxFilm Festival in Dallas, Texas. Ellen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. A pleasure.
Okay.
Calling in from the Netherlands
I
today.
know, I know. This is again one of the few things that are kind of great about doing things virtually is that we have an opportunity to talk to you all the way from the Netherlands, whereas in a normal film festival world, we might not be able to get you to fly into Dallas for a festival.
No, absolutely. I agree. And it's a good thing that there are some advantages to this really challenging time as well, isn't it?
E-
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
and it also this kind of pertains to the film itself in an interesting way. But let's begin by having you introduce our audience. They have not seen the film as yet, so tell us about the film.
Well, the film is called There Is a Place on Earth, and it's really a film that connects two worlds: the world of art and the world of wilderness conservation. And so it's definitely interdisciplinary. Um, it's a film that tries to show how important the role of artists in wilderness conservation is, and hopefully should be in the future, in the near future. Um,
It's interesting. Um, I don't always have this feeling when I watch a film, but I did with this. And the idea was, oh, I bet this one was a fun one to make because you're traveling all over the place and you're meeting various people, and it's almost like a treasure hunt in a way, um, you know. And and I love that idea about it. It was like, oh well, where's Ellen going now? Who's she going to talk to now, right? So I would love for you to talk about that process because we don't always get that with films, and so talk about the journey, the literal journey in making There's a Place on Earth.
Yeah, no, John, it's funny you say that because it was a treasure hunt in a way. I certainly didn't go out on a treasure hunt in the beginning. I really didn't really know where I was going, and I remember that my first one of the first things I did was go to Hawaii, where I had volunteered for the whale rescue program, and I remember I actually asked a friend of mine to come along, and I remember sitting at the LA airport, and he looked at me and he says, "So, Ellen, what are we going to do?" And I said, I really don't know. So it was that kind of an exploration where it was really one step that led to the next. And I literally didn't know where my next visit was going to be. And so it was just getting on my way, and that led me to the next new thing, and I was introduced to new people. And yeah, once I got a better idea of what it was that I wanted, I got also introduced to more and more people that could speak eloquently about it, because in the beginning I didn't have those people. You find artists, of course, many artists in the world, of course, that love to make work about nature, but they don't necessarily all can speak about that and why that is important. So it's also finding an artist that is also willing to really speak about it and has something to say about it.
Well, something else that I don't find myself uh, describing films as, and I'm watching countless films, all because that's what I do. Is I work for many film festivals. I'm covering other film festivals as press. I'm seeing so many films. Um, and I'm also old enough where I'm jaded enough where I don't have a kumbaya spirit of wonderfulness and whatever. But I will say, I was thinking as I was watching the film that it is a perfectly lovely film. And I'm choosing my words very wisely. It is a lovely film because, especially in the environmental world, we are more often than not, we are doing call to action documentaries. This has to be fixed. This needs to be stopped. This is a
Yeah.
terrible thing. This is what have you. And so, as I was watching the film and luxuriating in it, I was thinking, whether it's the time we spend with the poet, whether it's time that we discover, our painter who literally had to restrain himself from putting an animal in his painting in order to have it accepted by certain
Yeah.
circles. But
Yeah.
and just gorgeous work. And then, of course, the amazing whale photography and which is gorgeous and literally awe-inspiring to see. And you also are living vicariously through his diving exploits to get those shots. But throughout it all, there is a lovely beauty to it that reminds us, beyond the call to action, beyond that we need to address climate change, beyond that, it reminds us of why we need to do all of that. It reminds us
Yeah.
of that connection. And I would love for you to talk about, because it's one thing for you and I to sit here and intellectualize it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's another thing for you to put that on film so someone else can connect with it. So please talk about that effort and how you carefully went about putting what you did on screen so that I could have all those feelings watching the movie.
Yeah. Again, I think it wasn't on purpose, but it evolved. And it, this project for me too came from that sense of anger and hopelessness. And I think that was a big part of it, the hopelessness. And I felt like we needed hope as well. And I think what you say is right. It's sometimes really hard to watch environmental movies because they are so confronting us with what goes wrong that we tend to forget, you know, that there's also an amazing, beautiful world out there. It's actually Terry Tempest Williams. One of her quotes is in the film, but I think she has a book that 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 is called "This Beautiful Broken World." So we all know, unfortunately, how broken it is, but a lot of good things can come from looking at the beautiful side of it. And it is, for example, also the graffiti painter Falco 1 in the film that says literally, you can point the finger and say, you must do this and you must save and you must save, but people will turn away. And that's also what poet Ian McCallum said. While if you show them something they can connect to, then the action will come from within and not from a pointed finger. So I definitely had to discover that for myself in the film as well. But one of the big discoveries for me in this film, in making it, is that I found that watching art, it's and watching a film as well can do that, of course, can have that same effect that being out in nature has. It connects you. It touches something inside that will spark that intuitive connection that, without it, we can save whatever we want, right? And so definitely that became part of the effort. Let me put it that way, because it wasn't my initial intention, but it's something that came out of the process.
Let me the the final question I wanted to ask you, because it's why we we meet through your journey, these various artists and everything. And then at the end, it's almost like there's an avalanche, there's a deluge as you go. And there's also this, and there's an augmented reality thing, and there's this museum, and then there's this one, and then there's this concert, and there's this and this and this and this, and it's like bam, 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 bam. And there's so much. And I kind of like laughed to myself as I was watching, you go through all those, because I was like going, oh my, I would not have wanted to be you and your editor in the editing bay, making the hard choices of what was going to be in the film and how much time you were going to allow each one, so that we didn't end up with a 12-hour miniseries. And instead,
good idea, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. I would hope, to be able to make that, actually. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, but exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing, is that so I would love for you to talk about, talk about the very difficult part of this, which was you couldn't give everybody all the time that I know you wanted to. And so then how did you whittle it down? How did you narrow it down?
Yeah, it was really mostly focused on the more accidental personal connections that I made on the journey. So, for example, Martin King from Australia, the bird the animated bird that flies in the movie, is someone that was recommended to me by someone I met through making the movie. So I basically made those choices on really on personal connections, because that's the whole movie. I mean, I totally agree with you. This movie can be made, and you meet 25 or 30 different artists, and you can make the same kind of movie. And another point is, about every artist, you can make also an hour movie again, because there's so much more depth. And so you are constrained, of course, in showing what's out there. But I know there's a lot of art out there. There's lots of artists out there that take this subject really seriously, and that take it to heart and bring it out into the world. And that's what I hope as a director and filmmaker of this film, that people will be inspired to do more of that, also locally, and because it's got such a beautiful impact.
Well, again, obviously I'm a fan of it. The film is There's a Place on Earth. We've been talking with Ellen van den Honert, the director, and also, frankly, your guide throughout this movie, which is screening at the EARTHxFilm Festival. Ellen, it's been wonderful talking to you about the film.
Likewise, John. I hope we meet again sometimes. Thanks for watching the film.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.